push us to our limit without, killing us.
These kids don't realize how amazing they are. It should be a really good fight this year to see who's going to end up on that team.
Such a hard work. I'm not going to say it's easy.
We know that this is her one shot.
In the day. Good morning.
Sam?
Seriously, what time are we finished?
Take out your homework.
Thank you.
How are you going to do it?
I don't know.
All right.
I'm always trying to plan out my days and try and cram and fit as much as I can into it.
Actually, I don't even think I need anything. She excels in school. She excels in gymnastics. She's very social.
I need to check that. Congratulations.
I don't know how she did that.
I've been doing that schedule since, 4th grade. I really don't know another lifestyle.
Her dad and I sometimes say, is it worth it? But she does think it's worth it.
I usually wake up around 6 o'clock and try and be out the door by like 6:40-ish. And school starts at 7:30, and I leave school every day at 12:30. So, and then I'm off straight to gym. And I can be late to my first period.
She walks up and down the hall with a backpack on her back like everybody else. She scurries into class late.
We have to go. Bye.
She giggles with her friends. You would just look at her and not really think that she was a world-class elite athlete at this high school.
16-year-old Samantha Peszek, a member of the U.S. national gymnastics team, is strictly old school. She has made the increasingly rare choice of being a full-time student at a mainstream brick-and-mortar high school in an era focused on maximizing through specialization.
I would go to the camps and they'd be like, yeah, I'm homeschooling. And so for a while I thought that I could only, do this and be as good as I am doing homeschool.
I feel like you have to keep up, and so it's just kind of the natural progression that you say, okay, well, school's going to have to be the first thing to go. It's just more that sense of are we falling behind because she's going to school.
We did bring up homeschooling maybe a couple years ago.
I thought that we did that in class yesterday.
She said, no, I don't want to do that. I want to go to school.
Guys, if we leave this on the pages of the book, we're missing it.
I had a couple comments from teachers and administrators that said, now when will she quit school for the Olympics? And I said, I don't think she's going to quit school for the Olympics. She's going to try to do both.
Pass your quiz paper and your homework to a neighbor.
Sat in meetings where they told all the coaches that if you wanted to do the elite program, you had to homeschool, you had to do 2-a-day practices. And in those same meetings, they would say, the only person who's not doing that is Samantha Peszek.
All throughout the years of my coaching career, you'd hear of gymnasts giving up school to train gymnastics, and I think that's not normal.
Chicken salad? Yeah, grilled chicken salad.
She loves going to football games and baseball games and hanging out with her friends.
I know.
And it's amazing how she fits it all in. She really does.
That's Allie, that's Max. You know them. You know her.
The teachers have never reported a moment that Samantha has said, I'm not keeping up, this is too overwhelming.
Sam, why don't you read?
She has never shared a moment of not being Superwoman and I can't balance all this.
Many top echelon gymnasts create a schedule that grants them the flexibility for 2 full workouts each day. For Samantha Peszek, her gymnastics world doesn't even begin until afternoon.
There's harder times than others. Sometimes Sam will go to school all day, she'll have practice at night, she gets home, she has homework, and it's 11:30, and we're saying, Sam, you gotta go to bed, and she goes, I'm not done with my homework.
Good job, good job.
My biggest fear for her, not so much has been that she'd get hurt, it's more been that she'd get sick, because when you're trying to maintain that many hours a day and not getting enough sleep, then, you know, that's when you start seeing signs of fatigue, and they get sick. They just do.
Nice. Tight, tight, tight.
People might look at my life and say, wow, she sacrifices so much, but I really see it as such an opportunity, because you might think, like, I might have to miss a high school football game or something, but at the same time I'm traveling to Italy and Germany and Mexico and all these cool places to compete for my country.
Very nice.
Sam's mom, Luann, and dad, Ed, met while they were students at the University of Illinois and settled with their two daughters in an Indianapolis suburb.
Ed and I were both athletes in college, and so I'm sure that helped. And Sam's been around it her whole life. We had her in it when she was like 2 years old, and she just loved it. It was like a big playground for her.
Non-stop energy. Even as a 3-year-old, she was doing things over and over and over again.
When my mom used to coach me when I was little, she said she used to be embarrassed because I used to push the little kids and be like, I'm first. And I would get invitations for birthday parties and sleepovers all the time, and I was like, no, I have practice. I can't go. My parents are like, are you sure? You know, it's just one practice. No, I have to go to the gym. I have to practice.
At the 96 Olympic Games, right after, there was a tour, and the tour came to Indianapolis. So Samantha was selected as one of the preschoolers that would participate in the tour. And so she was running around the mat, and Bella Curley snatched her up and put her on his shoulder and said, oh, look at this little one. She might be champion one day. You don't know.
The 1996 U.S. women's gymnastics team, nicknamed the Magnificent Seven, won the team gold medal at the Atlanta Olympics. Luann Peszek served as the press officer at those same games and has been the publications director for USA Gymnastics for over 20 years.
We'd like to put a picture of her in the magazine. I used to come home and tell Sam stories about how Carrie Strug signed these autographs and it was so nice, and how Amanda Borden is so sweet, and how, you know, tell her little stories.
She got to see that these people that are competing at those levels are regular people, regular kids. And I think that that's something that she took away from that.
We had this videotape of the Magnificent Seven after the games had concluded, and Samantha watched that videotape more times than I can even count. They'd go, oh, Mom, can we put in the tape? Can we put in the tape?
I wore the movie out. I would always try to imitate the routines, and I just wanted to be just like them. They were just so cool, and they were my heroes, and that's really my inspiration. It all started from then.
Okay, so we'll have to get that for Friday.
I think it's no different than any other family that perhaps are doctors or that are attorneys, that, you know, their children are exposed to what their work environment is. Sam has grown up in that environment.
I would take her to TOPS national testing, and there's a little bit of an advantage, maybe, that the national team coaches knew that she was that Peszek girl.
Despite the tunnel vision exhibited by both mom and daughter in their simultaneous roles as colleagues and family, the challenges to keep those roles separate are evident.
Sam wasn't even born when I had this job. So now that she's at this level, which we never planned or had prepared for, it is a little challenging, but I try to put on the right hat depending on what role I'm in. Obviously, when she has a bad day, I feel it too. And when she's happy, I'm very happy. You know, I think it's hard to take that part out of it.
One time, we were at an interview, and so she would come on and be like, hi, this is Luann Peszek, managing the press conference, and then they would say our names, and this reporter comes on, this question's for Samantha. Is the Luann on the phone? Is that your mom?
Obviously, Peszek is not a very common name, so when they put two and two together, I think that, you know, people rightfully say, how did Sam, you know, get to where she's at?
Every once in a while, I'll just be like, well, her mom, you know, her mom probably got this. If anything, it's a disadvantage because people in the office are, like, sometimes overly cautious.
It's almost like they've looked at Sam and tried to not give her any special treatment to her detriment, I would have to say. But it's been a benefit to Sam because she has been exposed to these great kids at an early age. So there's been some good and some bad.
It really has nothing to do with the fact that her mom is sitting in the office. You know, we are really evaluate the gymnasts based on their own performances.
Yeah. Just because her mom works for the Gymnastics Federation, no. I mean, I was on the box of Wheaties, so should my 4 daughters be on the box of Wheaties? No. Doesn't work that way.
Coming up next.
Absolutely amazing amount of pressure. They are judged every time they come into the gym.
I think this is like the hardest thing for people to understand. I would go to bed every night picturing myself on that medal stand with the American flag and our national anthem and me standing up there.
At the 1984 Olympics, a little-known diminutive girl named Mary Lou Retton faced the vault of her lifetime, score a perfect mark on the vault, and win the overall gold medal.
And I remember saying, okay, this is it, Mary Lou. I mean, the next 3-second vault is going to determine whether or not that vision comes true of whether or not you win that gold. And I was actually smiling before my feet hit the floor. Sam, I love deep down because she's my kind of gymnast. She's not the long ballet, as they say, graceful gymnast. She's strong, she's powerful, she is explosive.
Mary Lou was so powerful, and I think that's Sam's body type as well. She's short and compact and very powerful. So you kind of have to go with what God gave you and just pursue it that way.
Very nice, very nice.
Samantha has very high A scores, which means difficulty level. So that's important with the new code of points because they look at the difficulty level of your routine as well as how you do it, which is the B score.
When she vaults, it explodes. When she tumbles, it's huge.
Beautiful, Sammy.
Because of her compact body style and the muscles and the strength and the quick twitch ability that Sam has, that's what enables her to get the power and the amplitude in all of her moves that is going to put her just a step above.
I do a double-double on the floor, and, you know, very few people in the world do it because it's such a tricky skill.
In the United States, only the 2 can do it. In China, I know there is one record right now is probably only 3 kids can do it, and this is the hardest skills.
I think that's the fun part of gymnastics for me, is to show everybody, hey, you know, look what cool skills that I learned, and just to do stuff that not everyone can do.
Samantha is so strong within her compact frame that in her younger days, she at times relied too heavily on her physical gifts.
I would sit in the meetings with Peter, her coach, and he would say, oh, she's so talented, but she won't focus. She's just playing and joking and having fun with her friends. She needs to focus. You need to have her focus.
It's crazy. You know, if I would have a rough workout or something, and then the next day would be the meet, and I would just have the best meet of my life, everyone would be like, that's not fair, you know, how can you do that? It's always been in me that I just know how to compete.
She might be having a problem with the skill during warm-ups, and we wouldn't worry because when she raised her hand, she was on. That was hard for her at first because they would expect her to do well at the ranch in practice, and that was kind of new to her, you know. She was like, what? But she figured it out really quick because you don't get assignments unless you do well at the ranch.
The ranch, as it's famously nicknamed, is the Caroli Gymnastics Ranch outside of Houston. Marta Caroli, wife of Bella, now coaches the U.S. women's team at the ranch and hosts all the girls and their coaches once every 4 to 6 weeks.
We have the national team training center at the ranch, and this is a special system what we try to implement here, which would fit the American society.
We didn't have it in the past, and so the girls would be competing against each other all year. And didn't know each other, and then, okay, now they're the Olympic team, and they go, yeah, right.
Other countries, China, can take their athletes when they're very young to a training system and live away from their families. Obviously, it wouldn't work here in the USA. I would never give my daughter Sam to somebody and have somebody else raise her.
The recent success of the system is due in large part to the extreme expectations of Marta. Every trip to the ranch brings the pressure of her glare.
Every time you go to the ranch, there is what they call a verification, and that means that you have to compete on each of the 4 events. And so, yes, there's a competition every time you go.
We intentionally want this situation to have a little bit of pressure because we will have a lot of pressure at Olympic Games or any world level competition. So this is part of our training.
Absolutely amazing amount of pressure. They are judged every time they come into the gym, whether it's for workout or whether it's for competition. You kind of have to get into a rhythm, into a system with your coach at home before you actually go to the ranch, before you actually go to these competitions.
It's brutal and really stressful. Marta is watch over every single move, and every single testing is going to be counted in the record book.
They know that Marta means business. You have to continually show her that you belong with that group, or she just won't pay attention to you. The more attention you get from Marta, the better.
She's there, giving you corrective criticism, and sometimes it's hard to take, but you just have to take it in the way that that can help your gymnastics, and you can't be pushed down. You're compared to the other girls that are there, and sometimes it gets difficult because you don't know what they're doing, and they don't know what you're doing, so it's kind of like a competition.
They can see who's learning what skills, and it really motivates them to, wow, I better work a little harder in this area because I'm falling behind.
It's like a reunion every time we come and see each other. We just hang out, visit each other in our rooms, but at the same time, we're supposed to be really focused. I think this is the hardest thing for people to understand because truthfully, those are some of my best friends. It's just so crazy. They're my best friends, but yet we still compete against each other.
I'll walk in the house, Shayla Worley's on the other end, or Nastia, or whatever.
I text them or talk to them at least once a day, or, if we haven't talked for like a day, I'll text them, I'm like, where are you? Are you still alive? When we're on the competition floor, we're not like, oh, I hope you fall, but we're more just like, focusing on ourselves and not other people as much.
They all know that they're fighting for their spot, and they all want to do well themselves, but I don't think that they ever hope that someone else doesn't do well.
You never wish for your opponent to go fall on beam or to hurt themselves, but you always want to do just a little bit better. I always did.
Coming up next.
You're so proud to be an American at that time, and then you step back and you go, wait a minute, that's my daughter representing America.
I think the sport as a whole, because they're in the gym, they're just fighting just to be better. They don't really realize what they've done. Sam's self-confidence is a little lacking, and she needs to believe in herself a lot more because she's a very talented athlete.
Even she on the national team, she still realized, oh, I'm not that good to be Olympian. I think last year, she know, oh, I'm good enough. I may make it little by little as a progression.
Samantha Peszek reached the pinnacle of U.S. gymnastics when she was named to the national team in 2007.
Once she got on the national team, there was a change in her. It became a lot more serious, and you could tell that her goals had changed.
The World Championships last year made a huge difference. She was on that stage, that international stage, and they had success. And I think she really saw, you know what, I can do this.
When they won the gold medal, that is probably one of the most exciting, if not the most exciting sports moment of my entire life. You're so proud to be an American at that time, and then you step back and you go, wait a minute, that's my daughter representing America.
The 6-person team that won gold at the 2007 World was led by Shawn Johnson and Nastia Lukin, the only girls to qualify for the Olympic team at the Olympic trials.
Nastia Lukin and Shawn Johnson are our top gymnasts, and they proving themselves in 207, and Nastia even before that.
Nastia is, we talk about beautiful gymnastics. Oh my gosh, gorgeous gymnastics. She has these beautiful, as we say, lines. She's untouchable in that way. Shawn Johnson is the all-American girl from Iowa. People love her. She's bubbly. She's little. She's strong and explosive as well. Sam and Shawn are very similar in their types of performance level. They're both very quick twitch. They're both very powerful. And then Nastia brings a whole different atmosphere to the arena. She brings the length and the lines and the beauty and the femininity back into the sport.
The other 4 members of the Olympic team weren't named until the final selection camp at the ranch in mid-July, just a scant few weeks before the games.
Most of the pressure for any athlete is actually making the Olympic team. And you think about it, every 4 years, 6 girls get to make that team.
You know, we have in the Olympic trials and then another camp, and I think that they're doing that for our benefit, just in case you had an off day or, you know, whatever the circumstances are, they can really choose the best team.
You go to Olympic trials, and then you go to the ranch. There's not any really earned spots anymore. Does the system work? Yes, but it's a very difficult system. These young girls, you never have the opportunity to go. They never do.
The end of your preparation, so you're just trying to put the finishing touches on your routines and to try and stick those landings and make everything perfect, and perfection is what everyone's looking for.
It's intense now. It has to be, and you can't just go, well, you've got 10 routines to do today, so maybe the first 3 will just kind of be okay. No, there's got to be pressure constantly.
That we don't need to make those little mistakes.
Now that it's come closer, you know, I'm starting to talk about the Olympics more, and every time I talk about it, it just makes me nervous.
The 6 girls who will make this team have a lot of adversity, and it is competing in communist China, which I believe is going to be very difficult to win at. Subjective sport. China is reared and peaked and ready to go.
There's an inherent cruelty at the Olympic Games. It's an event that happens on a hard date every 4 years, a date that is advantageous to some and a handicap to others.
It is sad because some girls might peak when they're 15 and not when they're 16, or they might peak when they're 18 and the Olympics were when they were 16. It is a very hard thing to map out and to have it hit perfect when your daughter is peaking. And you try to train so that you're going to peak at that time, but no one knows.
You train your entire life to peak at this one moment in time, Olympics. And I think she is. This one is it. Summer 8808, Beijing, China. This is her time, and I think she's primed and ready to go.
I remember Mary Lou Retton and Nadia Comaneci, and now you say Samantha Peszek in kind of the same breath. And I think a young lady that I know in this school, as normally as any other student that's walking these halls, is performing at that high of a level on the world stage. It's truly mind-boggling.
We continue to pray for all of our athletes. We pray for Sam, for her dreams.
We are so blessed. We are. And we see how much Sam has done and all of her accomplishments. And it's like a fairy tale story.
Hey, guys.
Everyone at school is like, oh, I saw your sister in the magazine. I'm like, yeah. And so it's kind of strange.
Thank you, church bells. Shut up. Yeah. Are you leaving too? Oh, it's cool. What? Okay, I'm done. You're the beast. I know, I was going to jump, but then I was already. Push us to our limit without, killing us.
These kids don't realize how amazing they are. It should be a really good fight this year to see who's going to end up on that team.
Such a hard work. I'm not going to say it's easy.
We know that this is her one shot.
My days and try and cram and fit as much as I can into it. Yeah, I don't even think I need anything.
She excels in school. She excels in gymnastics. She's very social.
I need to check that. Congratulations.
I don't know how she did that.
I've been doing that schedule since, 4th grade. I really don't know another lifestyle.
Her dad and I sometimes say, is it worth it? But she does think it's worth it.
I usually wake up.
Lead athlete at this high school.
16-year-old Samantha Peszek, a member of the U.S. national gymnastics team, is strictly old school. She has made the increasingly rare choice of being a full-time student at a mainstream brick-and-mortar high school in an era focused on maximizing through specialization.
I would go to the camps and they'd be like, yeah, I'm homeschooling. And so for a while I thought that I could only, do this and be as good as I am doing homeschool. In the day. Good morning.
Sam?
Seriously, what time are we finished?
Take out your homework.
Thank you.
I'm going to do it.
I don't know. I'm always trying to play around 6 o'clock and try and be out the door by like 6:40-ish. And school starts at 7:30, and I leave school every day at 12:30. So, and then I'm off straight to gym. And I can be late to my first period.
She walks up and down the hall with a backpack on her back like everybody else. She scurries into class late.
We have to go. Bye.
She giggles with her friends. You would just look at her and not really think that she was a world-class